Hey guys, welcome back to RMA Garage. I'm Mark. In today's video, we are going to be replacing some tires. Now, as you can see, this bike is the wrong color for our garage. We are Yamaha guys, but friends of ours dropped off his KTM, and I believe this is a 250XC. Very nice bike. He brought over some tires. We're going to be replacing the front and the rear. Before we do that, we are going to practice because it's been about a year since I've replaced the tire on my WR250. So I bought a new tire for my bike, and if you remember in a previous video, we didn't change it halfway through the year because it was dry. So right now we are going to replace the tire on my 250F with a brand new, and I bought a Cheater 505. So we're going to practice on my bike first before we get into this one because his rims are painted black and mine are just raw aluminum. So we don't want to scratch it up. We want to practice first. So let's get to it. Tools that we're going to be using to replace the tire: 2 tire irons, a Bead Buddy that is Tusk brand, so it's a little cheaper than the Motion Pro. And we're also going to be using the Rim Shield 2s made by Motion Pro. I like these a little bit better than these other protectors. I used them the first time and they cracked the first time I used them. So these seem to be a little bit more brittle than these. These seem to be a little bit more flexible. So we're going to give these a shot and see how they work. So the first part of taking a wheel off and changing it is breaking the bead. And right off the bat, we could not break the bead on this tire. All the other videos that I watched, it just popped right off and it was no problem. We even got a second spoon and we said, hey, maybe we don't have enough leverage. Well, Ryan's pushing down. We could not break it for nothing. So frustrating. So we flipped the tire over and said, well, let's try the other side. And as Ryan's pushing down, he gets hit in the face with a puff of dirt and poof, there it is. The bead finally pops off. They make it look so simple on the internet, and you wonder sometimes, what am I doing wrong? It just so happens that there was dirt and mud trapped in between the tire and the edge of the rim, and it just created a little crust that wouldn't release. So we start taking the tire off the rim. So what I have there is a 5-gallon bucket with a wash towel on it, and that's what's supporting the wheel. So I came up with this method just because we didn't have to be crawling around on the ground, and of course it's winter time, so it's cold outside, and I didn't want to do it on the garage floor. So we thought, well, maybe I can prop this up on the bucket. It'll be waist high and it'll be great. Well, what we found is as we were working, the tire would constantly move and jostle around the bucket. I have to constantly hold it when Ryan is pushing on a spoon. Doesn't work out the greatest that I thought. So we got the tire off, we're prepping the new one, I'm making sure that the direction arrow is going correctly. Now I'm using Simple Green to lubricate the tire. Armor All, WD-40, tire paste, soap and water, all have been suggested on the internet, but I decided to go with Simple Green just because that's what I've used in the past and that's what's worked for me. So right here we're trying to snap the first bead over top of the rim, and again the bucket method is not the greatest. It's hard to hold the wheel and work the spoons. Somebody's got to hold it, somebody's got to work the spoon. Also too is that tire has to be in the center of the tire. If it's on the bead, it will not snap over, and that was the problem that we were having. So we took it off, put it on the ground, tried to do it standing up. That didn't work. So we grabbed the tire and decided to use the best leverage that we could. And standing over the tire, we were able to get the spoons in there and to get it snapped down. Again, not anticipating the difficulty that we were going to have, but nevertheless, this is how we decided to do it. So we've got the tire mounted and it's time for the inner tube. Hindsight, should have put the tube in first and then put the tire on the bead. My knuckles were all bruised because I was trying to tuck the inner tube in, and then you couldn't get the stem through the rim. It was very difficult. All right, so here we are getting ready to start snapping the final bead on, and we've got our rim protectors in place. We've got our bead buddy that we're going to be putting in here in a second. But the one thing with this is the rim protectors started to work right off the bat, but as the tire got around, the rim protectors were kind of getting stuck on the rim, and you had to kind of beat them into place or beat them out of place, as I'm doing here, because they would get stuck. And what we found was they were getting more in the way, more so than they were protecting the rim. Now, I was probably not using them 100% right, but again, it was more of, wait a minute, we need the rim protector before we go any further, or I don't want to scratch the rim. And it just became a back and forth seesaw, either trying to get the rim, the tire mounted, or protecting the rim. So again, we were going back and forth. Finally, we just, I took it out, laid it to the side. We left the one in, and I just stuck the spoon in to snap it over. Now, I did put the clamp on the back side of the tire because we could not keep the bead of the tire out of the bead lock, out of the edge of the rim. It has to be in the center in order for the tire to seat over the rim. I could not hold the tire flat, and I could not push on it because of the bucket. So we clamped it, and we finally, with a last-ditch effort, boom, the tire got installed. So this was sped up, but this took probably an hour. So we just got done changing the tire, and I think I've just made an executive decision to buy a tire changing stand. What do you think, Brian?
Yes.
I think we're gonna buy a tire changing stand. The bucket method, it worked, but I don't think it's gonna work long term. We have 3 bikes, and we're gonna have to replace a lot of tires over the next couple years. So yeah, we're gonna start replacing other people's tires. Just like over there. I think we're gonna get a stand because this bucket method didn't really work real well, and for as much as they are, it's probably gonna make it worth a while. Hope you guys like this video. I don't know how informative it's gonna be, but this is a way to change a tire, but not the way. As Ryan cleans up, hope you guys like this video. What do you mean? I'm not cleaning, I'm doing my video. Hey guys, I'm over 100 subscribers now, and I'm stoked.
104.
104? We're 104. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.